The best way to hit and not get hit are with two-phase attack combinations, and that's where you attack, defend, and then attack again, all in one combination. In this video, we're going to go in depth on the basic ones because it's not about doing advanced versions of these combinations. It's about doing the basic ones really well. So we're going to go into how to combine the flow of boxing in with these combinations, how to perfect your technique, how to make sure you get the most out of the punches, how to make sure the defenses are correct for those combos as well. So yeah, let's start. The first combination is 1 catch 1 2. Now this is super effective at long range, and the reason it's so effective is because you're exploiting the openings that is created when you get your opponent to jab. And you get your opponent to jab with the first jab. So with your first jab, you're not really trying to land it, you're trying to get them to jab with you so you can counter their jab. So for example, I throw my jab, get them to jab with me, and as they do jab, I'm going to catch and then fire back my jab again and follow up with a 2. Now the aim with this is to use that flow of boxing. So my shoulders are constantly going from this position here to this position to this position and back again. All right. So when I throw the jab, I'm turning my body through to get them to jab with me, catching it. And that's all, when I'm catching a jab, all I'm doing is I'm just turning, staying in my normal position, right? But I'm just turning my hand in front of my face, blocking their jab. And then as they've thrown that, there should be a little hole which is created from them jabbing. That's up through here, right? So imagine I'm my opponent jabbing. There's this little hole here, and that's where we're going to land our jab. So the first one, nice and long, catch theirs, fire the second one back, and then as soon as that one's touched the target, you're going to drill through the cross. Okay, so turn on the 1 2, really push your rear shoulder backwards like this, line it up, and then drive through on the cross. All right, so it's just a touch, touch, and then drill through the cross. The important shot is the cross. The other 2 jabs, the first one is sort of deception, trying to get them to jab with you, and the second one is to line up your cross. For the next combination, we're continuing the theme of using the jab to get a reaction out of our opponent. So with your multiple phase attacks, you want to start by baiting or drawing them in by using some sort of shot, usually a jab, to get yourself in range to get them to react. So this next one, we're going to start with the jab again, but from this position, I'm going to step with my lead foot as I rotate back this way, right? So I'm bringing my arm back, I'm stepping diagonally forwards like this, and I'm slipping. So I'm basically following my knee with my head as I bring my jab back, bringing my head over my knee. So I'm taking my head off the center line. And what this is doing is it's trying to provoke a cross counter. So as I throw a jab, a likely counter is either a jab themselves or a cross, but it works with a jab too. But any straight shot that comes back, we're taking our head off the center line so it misses, and then we've put ourselves in the perfect position here to throw that liver shot, lead hook to the body. When we're throwing the liver shot, you've got to take your upper body off from this axis to this one. So there's like a slight bend at the hips, and you're doing that as you rotate. So I'm leaning a tiny little bit this way as I'm rotating my body. So I'm effectively just slipping to here. My head's off the center line, and I'm going to stay on this axis that's at this angle now whilst I throw this shot. So the aim here is to not throw the shot and come up to upright again. We want to stay, once we're down here, we want to stay down here to throw the punch, come all the way back to our like guard position before we come back up here. Because if I come off this axis as I throw the punch, I lose my power, I lose my ability to really rotate around my spine. So you want to, after you've thrown the jab and you slipped and you stepped, you want to stay here, throw the lead hook to the body, and then come back, as opposed to, that's taking your power away, because it's not, all of your force isn't directed in one singular motion. It's coming back this way whilst my knuckles are traveling that way. It's not optimal. Yeah. So jab, I've rotated my body this way, shoulders gone back, it's provoked a punch, I've stepped, taken my head off the center line, and slipped all at the same time. Whilst I do that, I'm dropping my arm to here, and then I'm just moving about this new axis I've taken. All right. When you are rotating around this axis, you want to kind of pivot on the ball of your back foot, just so it's easier to open your hips. And your arm could basically just stay in this position, and you'd be able to generate power. All right. So you see here, imagine there's like a sort of metal pole going through the center of my body, and I'm just rotating around it. You want to get there quickly, throw the shot, and then come back. All right. Oh, by the way, if you didn't know, I coach people online how to box. Here are some of the results. And if you want to get those results yourself, then click the link in the description or go to hybridwarriorelite.com and be trained by yours truly. Right, this next one, combo number 3, takes a little bit of rhythm. So we're going to start by just bouncing forwards and backwards on the balls of our feet like this, like a little pendulum step. We're not going to go far. We're not trying to like come forwards and backwards a long way, just like a little bounce in between. And then on every forward bounce, I'm going to throw a jab. And now we've got used to this, we can put a 2-phase attack combination together. And on those forward bounces, or on our forward bounce, we're going to throw our jab. And as we go to bounce backwards, I'm going to take my back foot out to the side ever so slightly while slipping. All right, so I'm pushing off my back foot to go backwards, and I'm going to here. So I'm only taking my head just off the center line. Most of it is done with a step. All right, so we've gone in, and then we're going out to here. And then what I'm going to do is push off this back leg to come back with a 2 and then a 3. And we can bounce with those 2. So it's more, what it should look like is this. With the 3, you can either plant your feet, so you've pushed off 2, 3, and be nice and solid, or you can push back with your front foot for another backwards bounce on the 3. So it's like this. Without the bounce, it looks like this. And with the bounce, it looks like this. Again, starting with the jab to try and trigger your opponent to get them to throw something with this bounce means that you're quite safely out of range, especially taking your head off the center line here. Their most likely return shot is a jab. You're trying to get them to jab with you. You've taken your head off the center line, and you've come back with a cross and a lead hook. It's a very safe combo. It's very long range. And because your feet are so active, it's not like you're planted and you're solid. So, you know, you can get out of range straight away. You're nice and light on your feet. You can bounce back out of range and circle off if need be. All right, home dogs, on to combo number 4. And this one, this is generally what you use when you've got an aggressive opponent coming forwards. Okay, we can still use these counter-punching combinations, but we want them to be coming forwards because we're trying to walk them onto a solid uppercut. Okay, so same principle as all the others. We're starting with the jab, but as we draw them in off the jab, I'm going to add a little slip with a step back of my rear foot. Okay, so I throw my jab, and all I'm going to do is step my back foot slightly backwards and load my back leg, taking my head off the center line. All right, so by taking my head off the center line, I mean literally just to here. And then from here, they're coming forwards, we walk them onto that uppercut, okay? Using the jab at the start is what's going to get them to come forwards and throw their attacks, because they're trying to exploit openings as much as you are. So when you do throw the jab, they're most likely to come forward with their own jabs, overreach like this, which makes a perfect way through for your uppercut. Okay, so we're trying to, with the jab, it doesn't always just have to be a single jab, because if you're trying to just do it off a single jab, you could be doing this and they're not coming forwards, you know, and they're just like, well, now I know he's going to slip over there. So instead what you want to do is you want to touch like this, see how they react, right? And then fire out a stiff jab. So you touch, and then a proper jab. And then once you've thrown that, they're much more likely to come forwards off that jab, okay, with their own jab or with any other attack. And that is your sign to step with the slip and drive the uppercut in. Okay, so we're just touching, moving your head like that. Okay, it's all got to be one flowing movement, right? So rotate with the jab, step. My head's already off the center line almost with the jab. Just step, and then walk them onto that. It's kind of good to come a little bit more square as you step. It just gives you a little bit more power to push the uppercut upwards with the back leg, but really focus on driving round with the hips like this. And when you drive round with the hips, it's rotating the upper body, which is bringing that uppercut upwards. And because we're off the center line, so as I've stepped here and I've slipped, it's the same as when we went in here and we're off at that angle. We're going to stay on that angle. So once we're here, I'm going to stay on this angle, drive my uppercut up like this. So I could, in theory, just stay on this axis, just like I was staying on this axis. Stay here. Boom. Then return, and then we're moving again. Well, then we defend, roll out, move off. All right, those are 4 two-phase attack combinations that you can start using today, but mainly focus on the little nuances of each one. So, for example, the bouncing, the timing, the drawing, you know, tapping, goading someone in, the flow of boxing, how each movement connects to the next one, all right? With that flow of boxing, that rotation of your body, transfer of weight. Yeah, those are the important parts. Okay, bye.